All right, this is the Twisted Caddis. We're gonna do the green version, and this is a size 18. This is a TMC 200R, and the bead on it, just a 2.3 millimeter in that black nickel, and this is just a brass bead. We're gonna start by putting 25 wraps of the 0.01 lead wire. Go. Slide that up under the bead there. And each size has, different number of wraps or different sizes of lead. Just kind of depends on the size of the hook there. But I'm going to start my thread here. This is just chartreuse Vivus thread and a 12/0. Any small diameter thread works great. Just make sure it's a nice bright chartreuse color. I'm going to just build up a little bit of a thread ramp here, kind of also lock in that wire, and then I'm just going to wrap through it, back down, really securing that in there. All right, first thing I'm going to put in, this is chartreuse span flex. I just got a single strand here. I'm going to double it over to make a loop. I'm going to tie in the ends. Try to get those even. There we go. And we're going to tie them in right there behind the bead. Leave a little bit of space if you want to. And I'm going to just pull tight as I wrap down. I'm going to wrap all the way down. Good ways, a little past the barb there. I'm going to take my thread back up. I'm going to just throw a half hitch here. Trim off that little bit. Put a tag in there. Attempt to, anyways. Tie that down later. All right, I'm going to take my dubbing loop spinner here, and I'm going to just twist this nice and tight. There we go. And then I'm going to just work this all the way up. It makes a nice little segmented body, and this span flex is extremely durable. And I typically put a little bit more tension in the first few wraps, and as I get up to the top, a little less tension, just kind of helps that taper out a little bit. I'm going to leave, roughly a bead width there to tie in the thorax. Trim off the rest of that span flex. I could probably still do probably 2 more flies with that, just one piece of span flex. Make sure that's tied down nice and tight, not going anywhere. I'm going to put in my flashback here, just some Mirage tinsel. This is a large opal. Doesn't take a whole lot of this. This is way more than I need, but makes things easy. Just tying that right back to the span flex. There we are. Now I'm going to put in some CDC dubbing. This is from Trout Hunter. This is just their dark olive. It's really buggy, moves a lot, just looks great. Love the color. Just going to dub that on. Build up Nice little thorax. Add a little bit more there. It's all right if it's buggy. Not gonna hurt anything. You can always come in and kind of pluck this stuff off. There we go. Now I'm gonna take just a light olive CDC feather, and I'm gonna just got this in my little CDC clamp here. This is the Mark Pettyjean, however you pronounce that one. Magic tool here. I'm just gonna use one side of a feather. I'm gonna go in and split my thread. I'm sure you could use a dubbing loop as well, but splitting your thread just gives you a little bit more room to work with. Although it's not the easiest sometimes. Just slide that up to the bead. Probably don't even need all of this out of the feather. I'm gonna get rid of a little bit of this. There we are. Just spin that up. And these double arm bobbins from TMC, they spin really nice if you split your thread. They're very balanced. I'm gonna just wrap these right there behind the bead, just gonna palmer as you go. Nice buggy collar there. I'll let my thread untwist so it's strong again. There we are. And I'm gonna just kind of part that CDC collar, pull my tinsel over the top, make a loose wrap, and then one or two loose wraps, and you can kind of pull this tighter, kind of pulls everything into place. And then what I'll do is after those two wraps, I'll pull this back, and you can kind of see how it just lays back, kind of fits up underneath that bead. Make a wrap in front, and just come in. You only have to really nick this stuff to get it to break. Just kind of trim that flush. Now I'm going to add in, this is a strand of daddy long legs in black, and one strand would tie a bunch of these, but I'm gonna just tie it in the middle just for ease here. But what I do is I kind of split it on the thread here, and I really want to angle this to where, you know, it's a V coming out each side. So keep it in place there, and then make a wrap or two on top, and then it just kind of locks it into place. And this doesn't have to be anchored in super well yet. We're going to whip finish right on top of it anyways. There we are. You can trim your thread. And then I'm going to take some of this. This is Gulf Classic. Stuff's hard as a rock once it cures. I'm going to fold these. These are the antennae, I guess. I'm going to kind of hold them back, and I'm going to put a nice little UV coat over that flashback and a little bit up onto the legs. And then I'm going to just let them kind of fall back, and I can kind of keep them in place where I want them. Then hit the UV light, and it keeps them right in place. I'm going to take a little bit more here, since when you fold those legs back, the daddy long legs there, it kind of pushes some of that UV back. You just kind of want it to be nice and even, have a nice coat over the top. So just right there in front, a little bit over the bead, kind of covers your thread as well. So it makes this fly a little bit more indestructible. And I'm gonna just come in and trim these legs. I just trim them a little bit past the CDC, which is not too much further than the body, but just like that. And then you can always, if you've got some really long CDC fibers, just come out to where you want them, pinch it, and you can just pluck them. There you are. That is the Twisted Caddis. The thing just doesn't fall apart because it's just super durable materials. You might lose some CDC, but that's not going to hurt anything. It's a great pattern. Comes in a 16, 18, and 20, and also in tan. And tan looks good too. So give it a whirl. Fish is great.